All right, guys, and here we are with another all-truck challenge competitor, Tiffany Lovett. How are you, Tiffany?
Good. How are you?
You know, we're doing great. We're getting close to competition time, huh?
Yeah, very close.
So we were talking a little bit before the interview started. As far as past experience, have you ever competed with or in King of the Streets in prior years?
Nope. The only thing I've ever been out to Ohio for is last year we went out and tried the sled pull cash days. We didn't do too bad out there. I mean, I was kind of figuring I'd be completely outgunned, but I believe we ended up sixth, so I was happy with that for our first year out, kind of competing with the big dogs.
Heck yeah. Now, competing, finishing in sixth place, that had to have been a little bit of a fuel to the fire to want to compete. But what was the main reason? Why did you want to throw your hat in the ring this year and say, hey, I am going to do all truck challenge this year and not just do one of the cash days?
I think there's a number of reasons. I mean, we've had a lot of loss around here this year, so I kind of just said, life's too short. I'm not going to keep waiting till the truck's ready. I'm going to make the truck be ready, and we're going to go out there and try it. Worst case scenario, we don't do great, but my truck's always kind of done well for what it is. And it's just something I've always wanted to try, so I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm just going to go out there and wing it.
No, you said it really well there. Sorry for past loss for one, but it put things into a different perspective. One day I'm going to do this, and then you realize life is short, and it's like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to throw my hat in.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do this. I want that experience, and the exposure, and you don't know what that looks like in position for what maybe next year brings, right? You have to take it.
Definitely.
So. For our listeners, though, it sounds like you've had past experience with competition with the truck, sled pulling, what have you. What is the truck itself?
So it's a 2001 Duramax. It's an LB7. It's just really we've been on 30 overs and a stock charger for a long time, and then this year we went to 100 overs, and then I actually just changed a bunch of stuff for the competition. And now I'm having some issues, so I'm kind of regretting that. But
Okay.
We're hoping to get it all settled out in the next week, because we leave Wednesday probably. We about 10 and a half hours from Ohio. So now it's got 12 mil stock appearing charger, and it's completely stock bottom end LB7. So
Okay. Have you ever had the truck on the dyno prior, or never really been
I have
hooked up on the
never done
rollers?
anything. Nope, I've never done anything with dyno, so I'm interested to see how that goes.
Okay. So with past experience with the truck, it sounds like sled pulling is kind of where your heart and soul is with the truck. That's what its main purpose has been.
Yeah, definitely. We've done a lot of truck pulling. Truck pulling's been in my family for a long time. My grandfather, he has a super stock truck, and I've always gone around with him. He's kind of one of my inspirations. So, I decided to get into the diesel world and try something a little bit different, because I didn't want to just do sled pulling. I'm not really a watch and see kind of girl. I kind of like to jump in there and do it. So with this truck, I've been able to do everything I want to do. When my friends go drag racing, I'll go down with them. When they go to truck pulls, I'll go do that. If I want to go do burnouts, I'll go do that. So.
Well, I mean, and that brings me into the next question. This contest is a series of multiple competitions. We know that the truck's never been on the dyno. We know you have a lot of experience with sled pulling. Have you had a lot of experience with drag racing with this truck in particular?
I have done some drag racing, but not a lot with this truck.
Okay.
I brought it down a few times, but most of my summer is taken up by truck pulling. So, and I haven't done anything with basically the new setup that we just kind of tried changing some stuff. The truck was pretty consistent at everything before, and kind of got a little freaked out when I seen what everybody else had, and I started changing stuff. And like I said, now we're kind of thrashing to get everything figured out. So we'll see what happens.
What are you most nervous about as far as, the different competitions going into All Truck Challenge?
I get pretty nervous for everything. I mean, I've been sled pulling since I was 15, and I still get nervous every time I'm in line. So
Okay.
probably the dyno, just because I've never done anything like that before.
Okay. Okay. Now, what's a win for you look like, right? Going into All Truck Challenge 2021, what's your strategy and what are your main goals with that event in this upcoming weekend?
I mean, we definitely don't have the power that a lot of these guys have. I mean, I don't have any sponsors. It's pretty much me and my husband doing everything, along with some of our friends. So, I guess my strategy would be consistency. Like I said, until this week, my truck's been pretty good. I mean, it's just been a great truck. I can't complain. It doesn't break much. It's been great to me in every aspect. So, I'd say consistency, which by listening to some of the others, I'd say is pretty key in this event. The 100-mile street drive seems to scare a lot of people, and that doesn't scare me at all because I still daily this truck. So we'll see what happens.
You know, one of the things, looking through and being an enthusiast in this space for years, and what Diesel Power Challenge used to be, and looking at these trucks, there's always been this strategy of what we just discussed, consistency, getting the truck from A to B. You don't have to be the fastest truck. You don't have to pull the longest in the sled pull. You don't have to make the highest horsepower, but you have to be able to make it consistently through all of the events and finish. What does that look like for you in the future? Let's say, the weekend of All Truck Challenge comes and goes, the truck stays together, you compete. Do you come back next year? Do you come back and kind of restructure what the setup of the truck is to that next level? Or is it, hey, I did it and I'm just going to go back to, the local sled pull and just kind of leave it at that?
I mean, that's definitely the plan. We're definitely planning on coming out. And yeah, I definitely want to come out next year, whether I do good or bad. I mean, I want to improve for next year. So, I mean, I say consistency is key, and my truck's always been consistent. But like I said, I did also get a little freaked out with seeing everybody, and I did throw some nitrous on the truck, which I've never ran ever before. So that'll be a learning curve for us, and I'm just hoping that stock bottom end holds together for me, because I know I'm already pushing it, but I'm all about the LB7 life. Everybody hates on it, so got to represent for the Duramax.
There you go. Who are some of the competitors that are competing this year that you have your eyes on that you think are going to do fairly well in this competition?
I mean, there's a lot of good competition this year. We've been out. We went out last year and obviously watched in between the sled pull cash days and everything else, and just kept an eye on it the last couple of years. And I mean, I think this year is one of the biggest stacked fields I've seen. There's a lot of trucks, and there's a lot of, I mean, nobody's not a threat. So I think Josh McCormick obviously is a big one. And there's just a lot. There's too many of them. There's a lot of good competition this year for sure.
Well, definitely there's a lot of good competition this year, and there is a lot of diversity in truck setups, more than anything I've ever seen before. We have, stock bottom end LBZ engines, LOY engines, LB7 engines, stock turbos, stock appearing turbos, single big turbos, compound turbos, Cummins trucks. I know one of the competitors is bringing a stock over a 400 frame style setup, guys with big S4 setups, and there's a lot of different characteristics in how you operate that truck in the event itself. So it's really interesting to see, how these trucks are going to stack up, because now it's one of those, we've talked about, keeping the truck consistent from A to B, but it's going to be really interesting to see how those lower horsepower trucks stack up to a truck that makes 2 or 3, maybe even 4 times that. Because at the end of the day, like we said, it's about getting from A to B. So, really, I'm looking forward to that. I'm kind of
yeah, me too.
excited.
It's really cool to see so much diversity this year, for sure.
Now, who would you like to give a shout out to? Because it's not, just you working on the truck by itself to go out there. I know you had said you and your husband, this is something that you guys do. So who'd you like to give a shout out to?
Well, definitely my husband for putting up with my addiction and my spending when it comes time to competition. So, and he owns Lovett's Automotive Detailing, so he's been, busy doing his own business. So I'd like to shout out to him. my friend Chris at Chris Beecher Performance, Paul, Abeling Automotive and Performance, my family and all my friends that have supported me this year, Rosick Well Drilling, that's our family company. So, and Josh Gifford, Nick, Austin's brother, Damon at KC Performance, and Blake Crenshaw.
Oh, that's awesome. Tiffany, we're excited to see you compete next weekend at All Truck Challenge. We appreciate you taking the time here. We're going to be on the lookout for you, all right?
Definitely sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm not really a watch and see kind of girl.